Mr. Dom? Mr. Dom, you there? Are you muted? Okay. All right. Well, what's going on, guys? Good morning. I'm back. I've been away for a little bit. It's been a good time to reflect a little bit as well. So,
happy birthday to Ryan.
What's up, brother?
I've been waiting a whole week to sing you happy birthday.
It's post my birthday. How are we feeling about birthdays? First word comes to mind. You think birthday, you think what?
Generally happy. Happy is the word. I still feel happy on birthdays.
That's good. Dom, how about you? What's your first word?
Happy. Like they just go together, dude.
I like party. Party's a good one. I feel like my first thought is whose birthday? That was my first thought when I actually asked that question out loud. Guys, you know what? This year it wasn't an age thing. I don't really care about aging. I had a harder time with my birthday. Hard? Why? I think it's attention. I think it's just like there's thoughts that come up. I had a great conversation with Dom yesterday on the phone. But birthdays is a weird time. I don't know. It's just sometimes it brings on the feels. And so but a good time to reflect, if anything. I think having a January birthday has always been something that's been like strange in my head. I've always said that 1, it's cold. 2, everyone's tired. Celebrating is like, all right, we're doing this again. What are we doing now? All right, let's do it. I think it's that kind of thing. I just you guys are tired. It's okay. You guys don't need to.
No, I'm good. I've been up since 4:15 Mountain Standard Time.
I'm talking about this annual cycle of hitting the holidays and then January and it being cold in many places. Not Dom, though. Not Dom.
Ryan, where did you go? What were you doing? Camping? Avoiding the world?
I would say the latter. But no, it's not avoiding the world. I think it's observing the world a little bit more. But
what'd you do? Or just kind of shut down?
A little bit of a shutdown, I would say. Not really a shutdown as much as, again, I'm kind of observing things a little bit. Look, you know what? You guys are talking a great talk yesterday, all about work-life balance. I think a little bit of balance was definitely necessary, which was a good thing. But that's all where we're at. So some time away was good. It reminds me, do you guys plan vacations? Or you guys look like 3 months this quarter? Dom, I feel like you must be working somewhat in quarters, right?
Not so much quarters, but it's mostly around. I would say our vacations are mostly around school schedules and holidays.
Jason, I'm thinking you'd say the same thing.
That's actually been something. That's something I'm focusing on changing this year. I am normally like planning for the month, and that's not always conducive for bigger trips and plans. So we're trying to be a bit more mindful of what's happening later in the year. So
looking ahead.
Yeah, like we're talking about Arizona in July to head down to Uncle's together.
Shout out Uncle Jeff. This is our uncle who played for the Jets, although was started with the Eagles many years.
Yeah, little known fact about superstar kicker Jeff Kiger. He was on 2 teams.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I talked with him recently. I always thought he was just Jets 1 year, in and out, wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I like the planning. Do you feel like that's something that you are instilling within the girls at home?
No, I'm terrible at it. And it's something I'm trying to get better at.
Here's a larger question. I'm curious if I can jump into this. Larger question about everything today. Great reading, by the way. I love this. I love this thought. I think because I really like the accountability side of things. And before blaming the world or thinking anything is wrong outside of your home, make sure that your home is set up. I think that a lot of people can be really judgmental. We can. I think that we should be. I think it's okay to judge. Depends on just how we go about sharing that judgment sometimes. But what's one thing you really believe in strongly? What's like a really deep value for you guys that you hold maybe internally that maybe you can do a better job of practicing at home?
The one I'm working on the most at home is kind of what the reading's about, is like try to focus on what you control and like focus on what you can change, like what, like affecting change, as opposed to complaining about change or complaining about something that, you know, is a general thing in the world, which I do at times. Actually working on it within yourself, showing that you can actually fix it in yourself before just, you know, going around complaining about it, about, you know, the world around you or your kids or something like that. Like mine's like money management, or, you know, wanting new things all the time. Like I feel like my kids have been, you know, they're always asking for the new this, the new that, but then I look at myself and I'm like, oh, they kind of do that a lot too, and I am the one who made them, so still got to work on that on myself.
Like that David says over here, paying it forward. He practices paying it forward with his daughters. Actually working through a moment. I like that. What's up, Ron? We got Dan over here too. First time listener. Dan, what's going on? Dan, I have a question. Dan, answer this question for me if you didn't hear it. What's a value that you hold really strongly that you maybe can bring into your own home? I don't know if you have kids at all. But what's something you want to help people around you kind of take on with that value, show a little bit more? It's good. Jason, how about you? Is it this planning, thinking ahead?
No, that's not it. That's that's something that I am working on, and hopefully, you know, putting that into the family as well. Kristen's better at that than I am. I'm always coming up with like these gigantic ideas, but like really bad at actually putting those, like doing the little things that make those things happen. That's kind of what I realized about myself. But a few things I wrote down yesterday.
I have a question. Do you hold any guilt towards yourself for that, or do you hold any challenging thoughts about that with yourself?
No, I don't feel guilty about it. Just something that I want to change.
Yeah.
Something that I wrote down was, we don't hide family matters from the kids, and we're open with the challenges that we go through. I think we do that really well. Something I asked here on the drive home yesterday was like, what are some things that you notice about mom and dad that maybe you think we don't know, you know, like,
oh, it's a dangerous one. It's a minefield.
We did. And she said, that's a hard question. And she said, there's not really a whole lot, which is good. I don't know if she would tell me or not, but it's like, I don't think me and Kristen, we don't hide anything from the kids. I think we're pretty open with them about just, you know, the daily challenges that families can face. Like this month we have some budgetary.
You know what I like?
No, I'm not done yet.
That.
Stop. I'm not done yet.
I'm going to say this.
Nope. Nope.
No, hold on. Stop. But I love this idea because I think that's really good. I've always thought the same thing. I've always liked the idea of no kids tables. I felt like kids tables, I think, set the precedent that whatever the parents talk about is not important for the kids, or that the kids can't actually take that on. Now, I think there are topics there. Are there topics you think that would be too deep for the girls?
No, not without, you know, wording it differently, or maybe giving them a comparison.
Okay, got it.
Keeping friends close, that's something that I think we embody pretty well. And not letting conflicts fester. Because like Craig said a few days ago, I think it was on Sunday, kids are very perceptive to what's going on. Like they'll know when there's strife going on between you and your wife.
Oh, 100%. I think that was something that there was a school Sloan went to, and Sloan's a big feeler. I don't even know if she's here right now. She's a big feeler. She has a lot of emotions. I love that about her. It's something that I share with her too. She went to a school when she was younger. Probably it was when she was in, I think it was kindergarten. Then she started first grade somewhere else. But the I don't know if it was the CEO. Hey, what's up? Do you remember going to Preschool of America? No. Sloan was able to speak Chinese at some point. Doesn't even remember that.
I was.
Yeah, you were. And so, but the owner of this facility, she would like, if there was ever a question like, "Oh, Sloan's sick today," she'd be like, "Is everything okay at home?" We're like, "Chill, lady. What are you talking about?" Yeah, there you go. You have to prove it to yourself. You're the one who didn't remember.
Oh.
Kids are home today. Why are you home today?
Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year. Okay, this is all. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's a really good point, Jason. With
It wasn't at Preschool America.
Preschool America, and then it changed to Metro Kids. I think that's what it was.
Do you have something that you need to strongly practice better at home, Ryan?
I know, because there's in my headphones. Practice at home. So, is there something that moms do that we feel really strongly about that we try to help you do as well? Good answer. Is there anything that we do at like the dinner table, or is there something that we do in the morning, or something that we do when we're at home for dinner time that you see mommy and daddy doing that we want you to do? What?
Chew with your mouth closed.
Oh God.
You.
Chew with your mouth closed. Stop chewing with your mouth open. Yeah, I guess, but that's it. I mean, like,
And then mommy says to eat over your plate.
eat over your plate, and do you?
And
No, you don't.
And then mommy also. Well, you both say don't leave don't eat it without other people. But then me and Didi do.
Okay, good. I'm glad it's sticking. Here's wait. Hold on. I have two questions really quick, and then I want to talk to the guys here. I think two things that I always think about is I always ask you to be kind to someone new, right? Whenever I would drop you off at school, and the other one is always trying to move our bodies, right, and stay healthy. Are those things that you think mommy and daddy do a lot, or no?
I don't know.
Okay, it's not the first thing you think about, though. Got it. So we can be more kind and show you more kindness, and then we can maybe move our bodies more. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. All right. So nothing we're doing here is sticking. That's
your parents. Congratulations.
I know. Well, that's that.
A blue spark.
Yeah, I like those. I like those. Be kind to someone new, and move your body more. It's I definitely feel it's harder to show it when most of my interactions with my kids and my family are at home, and we're just the five of us. But yeah, it makes we got another one. What's she wearing? She's got a unicorn horn on?
Always a unicorn on today.
Yes.
What? Yes, I got to make your shirt for your birthday. Put it right there. There you go.
Is that your little one, Jason?
This is my 5-year-old. What's your name? Hazel.
See, Hazel.
Okay.
Ask the same questions. What are the values she sees you guys holding to, Jason?
Hazel, what values do you see me and mom embody for you kids?
Oh, goodness. What a big question.
Good extra sleep.
Put us to sleep. Yes, we tuck you guys into sleep.
What a great answer that is.
Yeah, that's the best answer I've gotten from all three of my kids.
But Hazel, I have a question. Your mom and dad ask you to go to sleep. They say it's time for sleep. Let's go to bed. Do you see mommy and daddy going to bed as well?
Hazel, when we tuck you in, do mommy and daddy go to bed too? Yes, we do.
Do you really? That's awesome.
Usually. It's necessary at 44, now that we speak of birthdays.
No, I think that's good. I think there's a lot of parents that really push. You got to go to bed. You got to take care of your brain. You got to take care of your body. You got to rest, all this kind of stuff. But then you have parents that are staying up, and I know that we can do that over here too. So I'm sure it's confusing for kids, right? And they're like, well, obviously I'm going to get up out of bed too. That's going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah. My oldest, Kira, she'll kind of like come into our room a little bit just to kind of hang out with me and Kristen,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. I'll take, as long as she wants to hang out with us, I'll allow it for an extra 30 minutes until we're not cool anymore.
I hear that. Do we know who Fialo is?
I
No.
want to say it's Dan Fialo that was first on Twitter. He's in the V Friends community. I think I've seen him in some Twitch and whatnot streams. But yeah, it looks like he's got a 14 coming up on 15-year-old, and I was curious if he had any more.
Yeah, Dom. Because how old is your oldest?
She'll be 17 in July.
Woo! My goodness.
I know. We're already talking about that 18. What are you gonna do? All that kind of stuff. That's been going on a lot.
And Dan, David, I think that's a really good point too. I definitely hold true to the idea that I'm probably going to I'm not going to change anything as of right now, but yeah, I think that, it will take time for her to see, like, we always talk about mom going to the gym to get stronger. We talk about going on walks in the morning, all this kind of stuff too. So I am curious what's going to end up sticking. But just might not be in her head right now. But it's a good reminder, because I think that we can emotionally end up changing what we do if we feel like our kids aren't attaching to it. We're like, well, they're not attaching anyway. But I don't know. Regardless, just chew with your damn mouth closed. I'm sorry, chew with your mouth closed. That's just that's how I feel. Can I bring up some themes here that I want to see if you guys want to dive into? I was thinking about one thing in terms of like self-reflection, like reflecting on all these things. If there is something that we're judging in the outside world, and then we need to kind of self-reflect on ourselves right now. I think kind of the power of action, power of examples, kind of over the words that we end up using. Like if I'm telling my girls to chew with their mouth closed, and I'm not doing it myself, well then we have a big challenge there. And then the idea of kind of like, how much can you make your home this like training ground for the change that you want to see in society? Is it like, is it something that we are doing? How do we do it? Is it age appropriate kind of stuff? But if we look at those kind of like three things, like that self-reflection before criticism kind of thought, or the power of example and like action over the words we use, or making our home to like train our kids. Do any of those like resonate with you guys?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that point, and it was a little point of reflection too. What I don't think we do is, I don't think me and Kristen, we do well is, I don't think that we like settle on like final opinions, which means like if we see something we disagree on, I don't think we cast like our final judgment on it and just leave it at that. I think we're kind of good at considering points of view. I know that's very broad and I can't really think of an example, but I don't think they'll ever hear us, like beat down on someone that's not there. I guess that's a value, is like if somebody's not around, don't talk bad about them.
Yeah, I recently heard someone say, as a couple, what they said that when they're in public, the couple will never talk, negatively about each other. That's like a value that they held true to. And I think it's easy sometimes. We feel like in a social situation, maybe you guys don't resonate with this. I think that you can finally like open up in some way and kind of be like, oh, this is what we're having at home. Like, help us settle this argument. And I think all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, this is feeling awkward for a second. So I think that's something that's good. But I also like what you just said about the final opinion, if that's what you're at. I'm thinking of resolution. A value that I really try and hold true to is the idea that it's not if you yell at your kids that's the problem, or it's not that like they see mom and dad fighting, or it's not, you know, name a problem, but it's more about the resolution behind it, which I think is really important, right? Because you're always going to have problems. There's always going to be a fight. There's always going to be an argument, large or small. But if your kids don't see the resolution, or that you can resolve something in, you know, whether it comes to, you know, a final answer or not, I think that there needs to be something there instead of people kind of walking away. And I found myself doing that. I feel like when I was a kid, I didn't really see so much resolution in things. No blame. It's just what I didn't see much resolution there. And so resolving things or coming to a conclusion, I think, like you're saying, was always a tough thing. But I do hold that value really true. I'm like, I yelled. Okay, not the yelling. I'm not going to blame myself. But now what can we do about it? Makes me think of the yelling challenges people here I talk about, or the people have mentioned before. But yeah.
I like David's point of praising in public and counseling in private.
That's a good one.
Also a teacher point is talking to kids about little behaviors in private instead of putting it on blast in public for the rest of the class to hear.
Oh, Craig, you know what, Craig? I didn't realize the lifestyle change that you're going through. Were you guys aware of this? I know he was here on Sunday.
I didn't know that it was a change that where he went back to living. Like I know that he was talking about living with one of his daughters, but I don't think I was aware of where he was living before that.
Well, I mean, I know
Like
that
if
they're
it's
older,
because
I
the
guess.
daughter is it because the daughter was one of your kids was living with your ex-wife and then she needed a place to stay, so now she's living with you, or was it? So I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's interesting though to kind of think about all these different stages that you've gone through as like a dad. I moved back in 3 months before she passed away. Helped my ex-wife in her elements. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I knew that kind of stuff was going on, and I knew that you were moving too. But that's big. I'm sure there's even stuff that you still have to reflect on, which I think is really big. Hey, with the last 5 minutes here, what do you guys think about sharing gratitude? I know we kind of skipped over it. What are you guys grateful for?
Space heaters. It's freaking Arctic down here right now, except this little bubble.
You have. There's a little, warmer on your lap right now.
Yeah,
Those cuddles are so warm.
Warm.
Dom, where's your gratitude sitting?
That's actually kind of funny because usually the office is very cold. Like the guy who I share the office with, like I don't touch the thermostat. I let him do his thing. And so normally there'll be AC running in the morning, but just recently he turned on the heat, so it actually is really warm and toasty in here. But for me, my gratitude this morning was real simple. I just went with, first sentence was like, I'm alive, my kids are alive, we're all healthy, my wife, all that stuff. The next one was actually my tooth pain. Like this pain in my mouth is really like hurting, but it's giving me like a weird sense of like how grateful I'm going to feel in like a week and a half when it's gone. And I don't have this problem anymore.
Yes.
So even though it hurts, I'm grateful to be going through it because I know how grateful I am going to be to not be in pain for the rest of this year.
I feel like tooth pain is like the best example of letting a problem fester until you actually do something about it. Like I've needed 3 like either fillings or other tooth things in my life, and each time it's like I put it off until I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. And it might be like a few weeks before I do that. And you finally do it. And you're like, why did I wait? Why did I wait to take care of this? Which is a really good metaphor for anything else we might deal with.
I love that. That makes me think about those times. This is kind of where I think my gratitude would sit. I think it's some of those hard moments, and then thinking back to like having gone through it. It's like if you're on like a winter hike somewhere is my thought, or you're really cold or uncomfortable somewhere. And you're like, this is the coldest I've ever been in my life. I can't even imagine myself not this cold right now or this uncomfortable. But then as you get older and you get more experienced, you're like, well, at some point I'm going to get warm again. But like that feeling of like doing something that difficult, but then knowing it's going to become a little bit better. But then, I think that's such a great feeling. And now thinking about it, I'm like, I really want my kids to build that resilience as well. It's I can almost think of myself like back on like when I was younger on like a soccer field around like crazy weather or something like that. And being like, oh my gosh, this is like the windiest, most uncomfortable. It's like raining. It's like in your face. You're playing this game. I don't think this is ever going to end. And then all of a sudden, you like fast forward, you're like in your parents' car and you're like comfortable again. I hope that's definitely something my kids can kind of experience. I think it's definitely cool. Thanks, guys. I actually just appreciated having that gratitude towards the end. Give me a minute to like take in everything we've just talked about.
Soaking it, Ryan. Soaking it.
Matthew, what's going on? Good to see you over here. Hold on. I'm resonating with this. Otherwise, I'll just get the standard. I'm okay. It's so easy. Man, I hate that. I really try to like not give that answer as myself too. I ask them every day in my Craig way. I never ask, are you doing okay? Or did you have a good day? I ask questions like, what was the best part of your day? Or what positive thoughts did you have today? I like that. You know what I ask my girls? I like to think of one of the senses and I say, what was the worst thing you smelled today? Because I never want to ask like, are you okay? Or I'll ask like, what was the funniest taste that you experienced today too? It's like those small talks.
I need to get better at that because my daughter went on a field trip yesterday and I asked her how it was and I just got good. And I was like, damn it. And then I didn't pry anymore because it was just the end of the day and I was distracted and I wasn't thinking straight. So yeah.
I never want my girls to feel as if, because sometimes when like someone's like, hey, how are things? What's new? Like those questions just like rake over my brain and I get angry. I know it sounds so silly to some people. It doesn't to me. It makes sense to me, but I'm like, I'm not your monkey. I'm not here to perform for you and make you entertained by what my life is or isn't. Now I'm on like stage. I mean, if you want to think about what overthinking is, but that really is how I feel. But it's like, I'd rather someone
at parties.
I know, right? I would so much rather someone ask me a direct question, like, what, have you cooked anything new recently? Like, I would totally rather like that direct question. So I have to do less thinking and less thinking about how to entertain someone in that. Whew, my goodness. Welcome to my brain. So
I really want to make sure that our friendship continues, Ryan, because I want to see how your brain handles teenagers.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Liberal Arts? I think it was with the guy from How I Met Your Mother. What's his name? And then whatever his name is. And then there was the dad from Brothers as well. The dad from Brothers as well. The dad from Step Brothers, if you know. It was more of a drama, I guess, if anything, kind of like a romantic comedy, rom-com, if you will. But why I'm saying this is because in the movie, there's this point where I think you have Radner, Josh Radner, is that the guy?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Radner like goes back to his like college town and is seeing all these things from his past, but he's kind of struggling with this like movement into adulthood. And so he starts like dating this college student, and it's like a weird relationship and just kind of feels like it shouldn't be happening. And then Josh Radner's old teacher, who had a big influence in his life, was talking with him. and he says, basically saying, he's like, you know what, being adult is not really a thing almost. And he's saying that, he still sees himself as 19, right? He's like, the biggest secret that no one really talks about is the fact that no one really feels like an adult. And so when I think about some of these thoughts around, like when you say, Ryan, I can't wait to see you with teenagers, I think like in my head sometimes I'm like, I feel as if I'm just going to be a teenager taking care of teenagers. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But so there's a lot more growing, I guess, that I still have to do as a parent. Is that what I'm saying?
I guess I just want to hear you say I am not your monkey to a 16-year-old and see what her response is.
Oh man, I feel like I've said it before. I feel like, but my kids wouldn't ask those questions. But it's like, I know that when like my mom asks me that question, or if like Lauren asks me that question, like I'm just not a fan of small talk. And so I know Lauren comes from, Staten Island. Staten Island, like small talk is an art. It's like the way of life. And I'm like, I don't feel like having small talk. And that's a me thing. It's not a Staten Island thing or a cultural thing. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Ryan, I have a whole book of notes here for next time you visit, just so we don't have to small talk.
Thank God. I've also been, anyway. Okay. Let's leave it there. That's good, guys. Guys, any ways you want to sign off? Go for it.
Let's say welcome to Dan for jumping in today.
Oh, Dan. Well, Dan wasn't the only one.
Who
There was
else?
Dan Fiallo, Matt, it was good
Matt.
seeing you here. Thanks, Matt, for being here. Wasn't there one more? Oh no, wait. I think Dan Fiallo jumped in on 2 different profiles. Is that what I saw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, I have that same shirt.
Are you 1982?
No, 1983.
Oh, and I'm 1980. Ryan's 1982. We just
I'm
need
83.
1981, and we'll be ready. And we got
Nope.
the whole
I'm
set.
83. No, I'm 83.
No, you're 82.
I don't really care anymore. I hate birthdays. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to sign off. We'll see you later.
See you
Bye,
guys.
guys. See ya.